The old barn stood at the far edge of the property, weathered but solid, its red paint faded by decades of sun and rain. It wasn't pretty by suburban standards, but it was honest, built with purpose, standing on land that had been legally purchased, properly surveyed, and officially recorded with the county. Every permit was in place. Every document was signed, stamped, and filed. But none of that mattered to Karen. Karen was the president of the Homeowners Association, and in her mind, HOA authority was absolute. She believed rules were flexible when she interpreted them. The barn offended her sense of control. She said it lowered property values, even though it wasn't visible from the main road and wasn't even inside HOA jurisdiction. For over a year, she had sent letters. First, polite warnings. Then, official-looking notices. Then, threats of fines that had no legal standing. When none of that worked, she escalated. That evening, Karen sat in her spotless home office, framed certificates on the wall behind her and a smug sense of confidence on her face. She tapped her manicured fingers on the desk while speaking on the phone. If the owner refuses to comply, she said sharply, we'll inspect the structure ourselves. I'm authorizing a patrol visit. On the other end of the line, a private HOA security supervisor hesitated. Ma'am, that property isn't technically. I don't care, Karen snapped. Do it. Around 11:40 p.m., a white patrol vehicle marked Community Compliance Unit rolled quietly up the dirt path leading to the barn. Two guards stepped out, flashlights in hand. They weren't police. They had no warrant. But they had been told they were covered. Just get inside, take photos, and we're done, one guard said. Yeah, HOA wants proof, the other replied. They didn't know one critical detail. Someone was already inside. A single light glowed within the barn, dim but steady. Between stacked hay bales stood County Sheriff Thomas Hale, calm, alert, and fully aware of what was about to happen. His body camera was already recording. He had responded earlier that day to a formal request from the landowner. Expected illegal entry. Request law enforcement presence. The barn door creaked as it was forced open. HOA patrol. A voice called out. This is an inspection. Sheriff Hale stepped forward into the light. Evening, he said evenly. You're trespassing on private property. State your legal authority. Both guards froze. One swallowed hard. We were sent by, HOA management. An HOA order is not a warrant, Hale replied. You've just committed unlawful entry. Attempted break-in. All on camera. One guard instinctively reached for his radio. Hands where I can see them, the sheriff commanded. Both of you. Now. Silence filled the barn except for the hum of the light. Meanwhile, Karen sat at home, sipping herbal tea, fully convinced her plan was working. She imagined the next HOA meeting, how she'd announce enforcement success, how people would finally respect her authority. Her phone rang. She smiled, then frowned when she saw the number. Karen speaking. This is the county sheriff's office, a voice said, cold and official. Your HOA patrol has been detained. You were requested to come to the property immediately. Her cup slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Detained, she snapped. They were acting under my authority. That's precisely the issue, the voice replied. Scene 2 approximately equals 1050 words. Morning light revealed a scene Karen never imagined. County patrol vehicles surrounded the barn. Yellow tape fluttered lightly in the breeze. One HOA patrol car sat awkwardly off to the side, its presence suddenly very small. Karen arrived stiff-backed, trying to project confidence as she stepped out of her car. I am the HOA president, she declared loudly. That structure violates community standards. Sheriff Hale approached slowly, holding a thick folder. Ma'am, he said, this property is not within HOA jurisdiction. Here are the county records. He flipped the folder open. And here, he continued, is a warrant for your arrest for conspiracy to commit unlawful entry. Her face drained of color. This is ridiculous, she shouted. I was protecting the community. You were abusing authority, Hale replied calmly. There's a difference. The barn's owner, Michael, stood nearby. He said nothing at first. Years of harassment, letters, threats, false fines, had led to this moment. She tried to take my property for 3 years, Michael finally said. I just wanted it to stop. Neighbors gathered, phones raised. Videos spread fast. By noon, headlines appeared online. HOA president arrested after ordering illegal break-in. The guards confessed. Emails were recovered. Written instructions from Karen herself were entered into evidence. In court, the judge didn't hesitate. Karen was fined heavily. She was sentenced to community service. She was permanently barred from holding any WA leadership position. The HOA was forced to pay damages. The barn remained untouched. One evening later, Michael stood inside the barn as the sun dipped low. For the first time in years, there were no threats, no letters, no patrols. Sheriff Hale stopped by briefly. "Law works," he said, "when someone's willing to stand up." The barn doors stayed open. And Karen's authority ended right where it never belonged.